were you learning about in your lesson this morning?
Well, we was learning about, like, we have to try and plan an advert for a hover bike, like a radio advert.
And really, we planned what our hover bike would look like.
And then we had the planning sheet. So what we had to do, we had to come up with a slogan, and then we had to find features of the hover bike, and then powerful, persuasive phrases and like to describe the hover bike. And we had to, which celebrity would we use? And I chose Stig because he's an excellent driver of a Top Gear. And we had to think of a rhetorical question.
And how are the people going to be speaking like?
So what was this, an advert that you were going to make out of film, or was it a paper advert?
A radio advert.
A radio advert, right. Have you listened to any radio adverts?
No.
Yeah.
You have? Some
Yeah.
of you have, some of you haven't. Okay, and how do you know what the features of a radio advert are?
Well, they're basically really the same as persuasive writing.
So what would they be?
You need to include like connectives and everything to make it logical connectives. So then you can make it all to make it sound good.
Okay.
Quite good adjectives and to really describe it.
You talked a lot about adjectives. What have you used, what resources have you used to find the best adjectives?
Dictionaries, thesauruses.
Online dictionaries,
Oh, you use
online
those as well?
thesaurus.
Mm-hmm. And have you worked on your own, or have you worked with a partner?
Well,
Basically both.
And so has your partner helped you at all to improve your vocabulary?
basically,
Finding
we help him, he helps us.
Like,
So we do him a favour, he does us a favour.
words? Okay.
And like we had this sheet, like we have to tick what we think we got right, and then your partner has to tick what he thinks that you got right.
So that was at the end of the process, that was like the assessment of what
Yeah.
you've done
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
So in terms of your national curriculum levels, do you know what levels you're working at the moment?
I think I'm level 4 or 3.
Ethan, do you know where you are?
I think I'm like level 4B, like level 4.
And
So
Chloe?
level 5C.
And I know your teacher's really pushing you to think about level 5 and moving on to level 6, isn't he? As well. So how do you know what level you're working at? What have you got to help you in the classroom to do?
Well, we have this. Well, back behind where us two sit, our table sits. Yeah, there's this board and it says our targets, and then we have the targets, the levels, and the targets wrote. Yeah, and then you have
Have
our pictures round it. So
Okay.
We know which level we're working at.
And how do you know what you need to do to move up to the next level?
because they have the writing on them that tells us.
Our target in the middle,
Yeah.
and we have all the pictures around it.
Right. And that shows you what your next level's going to be, does it?
Yeah.
So in your books today, perhaps you can show me what you've actually been doing in your books.
We was like planning our hover bike things, right?
Hover bike.
Like stuff.
And
in the end.
today we had to add on stuff.
So has your teacher looked at your books and made
Yeah.
comments?
Yeah.
And
That
do
was
those...
Miss Dissington's writing. She didn't mean to put
Okay.
it there.
Can you explain how those comments are helping you to learn?
Well, it helps us to improve our work and really, sometimes they give us questions to answer and recorrect our work.
We've also said, and we know what we got to do for when we next do a persuasive piece of writing.
Right. So the marking actually helps you think
Yeah.
about what you've got to do next.
And sometimes we have the response to it.
Right. So you have to respond to what your teacher's written.
Not all
Yeah.
the time, but
Okay.
Depends what kind of form it is. If it's in a form of a question, we need to answer it politely. And if it's just in the form of a comment, we just need to read it and take it on and correct our work with it.
So when you've finished a piece of work and the teacher's marked it and they give it back to you, do you look at those comments? Do you
Yeah.
actually read them?
because usually sometimes in guided work, because Mr. Moore's been away for a couple of days, we haven't had proper guided work. But from the start of the year, he got us to take our thinking book, topic book, and just mark and numeracy, just to mark all of the, so just basically response to the comments.
Right.
And collect the tokens if we have tokens that we need to pick up throughout the book.
So how do the tokens work? What do you have tokens for?
Well, it's like how we have them, the school certificates basically. If we do
Of
something
values.
good or we answer a question, like a hard question correctly, then we just get a token basically.
And we would get tokens for like when we follow our school values.
And at the end of the week, we have these pots, and Miss Monroe weighs them, and then the team that has the most tokens wins the week of the tokens.
Yeah.
Thank you. So in terms of your learning, what do you think helps your learning most of all? It might be different for each of you actually. Ethan, what do you think helps you to learn best?
I think it helps me learn when I've got silence or working with someone else.
Is that the same for you, Chloe?
Yeah. And also like dictionaries and things around me that help me to write.
And George?
Well, the tokens kind of like bribe you. So then like you gotta basically put your hand up to try and get a token. And working with a partner helps.
All three of you, I think, have mentioned working with partners helps you to learn. How has your teacher worked with you so that your partner is an effective teacher to you?
Well, in about week 2, we picked our response partners, and we had to pick someone we worked with well, and that would help us, and we would help them. So basically, vice versa.
Now, presumably in your class, there are some people who are better at writing than others.
Yeah.
How have you been grouped so that the children who aren't so good at writing
Well,
get better?
Well, we have so what we do, so you've got good people with, I'm not going to say bad because everyone's good at the end of the day, but with okay people. So then they get to learn from the more intelligent type people.
So in terms of these people who, you describe them as more intelligent. There are some people who are better at literacy at the moment than others, aren't there?
Yeah.
So how do we stretch those people? What does the teacher do to make sure that the people who are already good, say the best person in the class at writing, what does the teacher do to make sure that they're learning as well and not just spending all their time teaching everybody else?
Basically, we just still keep to the same theme, and also we have groups, so like math groups.
And we get different work for each part. If we're working at one level and we have worksheet, we work at that level worksheet, and then so on and so on.
And with our response partners, to help the response partners, we have to read their work through, then mark it and tell them what they have to do to improve.
And also, you basically say the maths groups. Yeah, you have same as what Chloe said. You've got intelligent people with intelligent, then less intelligent with less, and so down. So
And our actual groups are pentagons,
triangles, squares,
and
Rectangles.
rectangles.
Chloe, at the beginning you said that you were working in level 5. Do you feel that you're being stretched to work beyond level 5?
Yeah.
And what do you think happens that stretches you and makes your learning better?
It really explains things and kind of says what he expects us to do.
And try and kind of do one-to-ones.
What do you mean by one-to-one?
Say you're in the middle of a lesson, yeah, he comes over to you, he talks to you, and then helps you with your work, and he asks you,
If
what
you know
level
what to
are
do.
you? And then you tell him, and then he says, how would you get up to the next level? And then we tell him, and then if we've made any mistakes, he'll tell us.
And you think that works for everybody in the class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the level they're on, that your teacher's actually stretching you and pushing you on to the next level.
Yeah.
Do you think that's being done effectively in your class?
Yeah.